Greetings and salutations, Renee Box Young. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, showing your support, commenting in the comment sections, tuning into lives, everything, subscribers since day one. Thank you so much for subscribing. Recent subscribers, welcome to Renee Box Young. This is a platform where we simply discuss, critique, and analyze the sport of boxing. We keep it simple here, you know what I mean? Definitely. And, I just want to say something. Check out my channel. If you're a new listener, those who have been rocking with me for a while, you already know. You can check my content, and I don't speak too much when it comes to this whole Spence and Bud dilemma. I guess we can say it's a controversy. It's a big controversy. Respect to both fighters. You already know my platform and my approach. If there are any new listeners, new people tuning in, I'm just I try to stay as neutral as possible when it comes to all fighters in general. Speak about various topics, and a wealth of fighters, I guess we can say, a wealth of fighters when it comes to my platform. Different topics with the sport of boxing and things that are going on, and I try to balance out what I talk about. I don't try to emphasize certain points, certain fighters, I guess we can say. You know what I mean? Other platforms do emphasize some things more than other things, which is fine. I mean, each platform has their approach and way of doing things. I don't really do it as far as, with this in particular regarding, Spence and Bud Crawford. But I do want to share something, okay, with you. I want to share something with you concerning, this whole thing. And I've been just kind of just, as I always do, we all got things running through our minds and stuff like that. And when it comes to sport of boxing, I mean, we constantly think of, the new developments, what can happen in the future. Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? You know what I mean? When it comes to fighters and when it comes to Spence and Bud, we obviously think it. You know what I mean? We obviously think, what's next? What's next for Bud? What's next for Spence? Spence, as you all know, I don't have to repeat everything, because everybody knows. Looks like Spence, he definitely has more options. I mean, he's definitely, on top in the welterweight division. I just made a video recently about Pacquiao. Pacquiao, man, he's out of here. I think Pacquiao should just leave already, man. I mean, all due respect to Pacquiao, he's proven enough, more than enough. I've said it time and time again. Check out my video. It's called Manny Pacquiao Has to Do Something. Okay, I broke it all down there. And Spence, this whole thing with Ugas possibly getting a WBA, but WBA is probably going to make their decision or what have you. Or from what I heard, that WBA is waiting on Pacquiao to make his move. If he's going to go for Conor, then WBA is going to make the decision automatically and hand over the belt to Ugas or be a position, the full champ or whatever the heck they want to call it. That's great. I said that in that video. When I was talking about, Manny has to do something. Spence has a great option right there. So we know the story. That's what I'm trying to say here. We know the story. But I want to say something that it seems like, I don't know, it's just a different approach or a perspective, I guess we can say I have. Bud Crawford, man, in the welterweight division, his name has exponentially grown through Spence's name. It might sound controversial. I don't care. I'm just speaking my mind. And those who think I'm knocking Bud or anything, no, I'm just thinking of, this is how I see it. My perspective, which is quite logical. It's quite, coherent. Okay. And if you think I'm like being biased or something like that, then you don't know me. It's all good. I understand that, and you don't know my platform, so it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. And it takes time, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we misjudge people just for first appearance. And when it comes to like platforms like this, like, YouTube, someone can misjudge somebody easily just by one video. Whatever, it is what it is. I understand. It has seemed throughout this whole time, man, Bud since Bud beat Horn when he entered, when he moved up to the welterweight division, it seems like Bud, like, as it is, we have to face the facts here, ladies and gentlemen. Bud, when it comes to limelight, as far as, popularity, I guess we can say, he has, achieved amazing accolades, in the other divisions that he came from, 140 and his accolades, you guys know. I have said it time and time again. I'm focusing more with Bud, concerning Bud, in the welterweight division. What he did in the past is amazing. It's ever since he entered the welterweight division. This is what I'm trying to say. His people, his recognition amongst the boxing community really wasn't high. more than anything amongst hardcore boxing fans. It was. I'm not talking about his skills. Let's just get that out of our minds. The skills, we don't even have to. His skills speak for themselves. Okay, his skills speak for themselves. All right. His skill set, you already know. We don't have to talk about that. I'm talking about his popularity and his recognition in the boxing world. It looks like this whole controversy between Bud and Spence has made Bud and his recognition and name more than ever before. It's at a peak because of Spence's name. Isn't that a trip? Doesn't that show how great Spence is right now as far as, his popularity? You already know the numbers. Numbers don't lie. You know the story. Spence is way up there. But isn't that a trip how, because of this fight, this potential fight, which I've said time and time again, it's not going to happen this year, ladies and gentlemen. I really doubt it. Most likely in 2022, if it even happens in 2022. You already know Bud's still in the contract, tied to Bob. He's tied to Bob. Okay? So, isn't that a trip how Bud's name has risen and just skyrocketed despite the opponents he's been facing in the welterweight division, despite the names he's been facing? I got to repeat it, in the welterweight division. You know, the Benavidez's, the Khans, the Brooks. At the point of Brooks' career, and at the time that Bud fought him, I mean, the Mean Machines. I mean, Bud's name hasn't necessarily skyrocketed because of those names and those opponents. His name and who he is as a fighter in the welterweight division has skyrocketed off of Spence's name. That speaks volumes, for Spence. Because Spence is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen, in the welterweight division. Bud has skills. We all know that. He's levels above the opponents he's fighting right now, which is why this is part of the big controversy. And a lot of people, a lot of boxing community, a big portion, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking too much about Spence, the Bud fans who are just blinded to him, that only see him and that he's perfect. I'm talking about the boxing community as a whole. Bud has been like, his name has been skyrocketing, and everybody knows the deal, what's going on here between Spence and Bud. Everybody knows, however, not necessarily like Bud's team and his side. I mean, I'm not knocking them, saying that they don't know nothing or no, right? The focus of this video is just my perspective of how amazing it is that because of Spence's name, Bud's name has skyrocketed. And let me get back to that to clarify what I'm saying about the big controversy. The big controversy is everybody sees what's going on. Everybody sees, and it looks like most of the boxing community understands that Spence's side. Spence is the more transparent one. He's the more consistent one in the welterweight division between Bud and Spence. I'm not saying that Bud's shady or nothing. No, I'm just saying that he's being more consistent. He's being the one who's active with the top notch, welterweights, fighting them, going for them, as opposed to Bud. Bud's name, okay, one more time. Bud's name and popularity right now hasn't skyrocketed because of him fighting Mean Machines, fighting the Khans and Benavidez and the Brooks. At this time, it's because of Spence. You can go ahead, let that marinate. You know what I mean? What do you think about that? I'm not going to say here. Part of it also is because of just Bud not facing the top welterweight competition. We got to be factual here, guys. I'm not saying Bud's a no, of course not. It's just that those names that I just said and that you already know about, the fighters that Bud has fought in the welterweight division, they're not on the level of Spence's recent opponents in the welterweight division. And we don't even have to talk about recent opponents. We can just go back and you already know the story, ladies and gentlemen. Spence, when he fought Brook, was not the same Brook that Bud fought. Definitely not. Definitely not. So isn't that a trip? How Bud Crawford's name has skyrocketed off of Spence's name. And amongst the opinion of a lot of boxing community is that Bud hasn't fought, the competition that most of the boxing community wants to see. I'm not talking about the little group that Bud, that ride with Bud, and that don't see the facts in all aspects. I mean, I'm sure they do to a certain extent, some of them, but you already know those who have been vocal about it, about those who, ride with Bud. And I understand it. They're part of him. They ride or die for him. I get it. But the problem with that is that when you're too stuck to somebody, you know what I mean? You become blind to the facts sometimes, or you just ignore it or become ignorant of the facts. It's something I just been pondering, that sometimes things that come to mind when I see, Bud's name, it's stuck to Spence's to a certain extent, vice versa. I say to a certain extent because Spence, I mean, it would be great if he fought Ugas. That would be amazing. If he fought Pacquiao, that would be amazing. If he even fought Thurman, that would be amazing. And Spence's name would continue catapulting even more. What Spence has proven so far, and the way he's doing things right now, you don't really have much. There's not much to criticize. Even if he didn't fight Bud, even if he didn't fight Bud in the welterweight division, there wouldn't be too much to criticize about Spence. There's a whole lot more to criticize about Bud, and that's another reason to why Bud's name has skyrocketed in the welterweight division because of the negative light he has received. The whole, his the way he's going doing things, the way he's been going about in the welterweight division. A lot of the weight or reasoning to why Bud's name has skyrocketed is because of Spence's name. Wow. Let that marinate, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand it's controversial, maybe what I'm saying, but it is what it is. I'm just speaking my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Call me biased or whatever. If you call me biased, you don't know who I am and you don't know my platform. So it's all good. I understand. You know what I mean? But or if you say I'm hating or something, you're way off. You don't even know me, so it's all good. Whatever. And what I mean is by you don't know me, you don't know my platform and what I talk about, my content. So do your research and do your homework on my platform if you think I'm that. You're way wrong. But boxing community that's been rocking with me for a while, you already know me. So thank you so much, man. Comment in the comment section. And what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? That Bud's name has skyrocketed through Spence's name. Wow. Salute to these two champs, Spence and Bud. You know what I'm saying? And on all the fighters in general. Renee Box Young. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay safe, fam.